Welcome to the book of Melachim I, chapter 16, where we read about the vengeance of Yehu and his kingdom. Now, let's start with a very simple saying. People who live in glass buildings should not throw rocks. Why? Because if you live in a glass building, why would you throw rocks? It's eventually going to come back at you. So, that's a good rule. That's what we're going to see in this chapter. Why? Because we've seen in the last chapter, in the kingdom of Yisrael, we've seen the king of Nadav, the son of Yerovam. Nadav is the son of Yerovam, and he doesn't follow what Hashem says. He's king for 2 years. So Hashem takes Ba'asha ben Achia, and he says, look, this son of Yerovam is not doing my word. I have warned the family of Yerovam that if they don't keep my word, they'll be toast. And in fact, Ba'asha ben Achia not only kills Nadav, son of Yerovam, but he kills the entire family of Yerovam. Everybody. However, what happens when Ba'asha himself, the righteous zealot who goes on and takes out the entire family of Yerovam and his son Nadav, what happens when that same Ba'asha himself starts worshiping idols? That's not good, right? Because, if you were the one who took out an entire family in the name of Hashem, you should be careful to keep up those standards of serving Hashem. So, Hashem comes to a fellow named Yehu, spelled not like Yehu, but spelled Yud Hey Vav Aleph. Hashem comes to Yehu and says, look, I want you to go to Ba'asha, and I want you to tell him, listen, since you have violated the word of Hashem, I'm just going to do to you what you did to the family of Yerovam. And your entire family, not just you, will be completely decimated. And so that's exactly what happens. But Ba'asha does not see it in his own life. He doesn't see it in his own life, but that's what happens. So Elah ben Ba'asha becomes king after Ba'asha dies, and his servant, I should say his slave, his servant, whatever it is called Zimri, sees him drunk. They're in some place called Tirza, and Zimri goes and strikes him. Zimri goes and strikes Elah ben Ba'asha, the king of Israel, and not only does he strike him, but he completely destroys his whole family, like everybody. So he does that, and then Zimri becomes king. This is kind of crazy, but Zimri is king for 7 days. That's it, not even 2 years. For 7 days, he's king. And people are like, wait, Zimri killed our king? All right, so we're going to appoint Omri, who is the head of the army, and he'll be in charge. So they all go to Tirza. Zimri sees that it's basically over for him after his glorious 7 days of being king. And he goes to the palace. He burns the palace down while he's inside. And that's the end of that story. Now, who do we have next? Guess what? It's a division. You have on the one hand Omri, the popular army leader. On the other hand, you have a guy named Tivni ben Ginat. Nobody knows who that is. He's just a guy. But Omri it's like 50-50. 50 are after Omri, 50 are after Omri, 50 are after Tivni ben Ginat. And now you have King Omri. He is king for 18 years, and basically once Tivni ben Ginat dies, there's no competition, and everyone follows Omri. Don't underestimate. I know you've heard a lot of names. There's a lot of names flying around. I'm not going to even say them because it can get so confusing. But remember this name Omri, because let me just tell you, his son's name is Achav. So that's a name you'll know. And Omri is also a name you're going to know. So Omri becomes the undisputed, uncontested king. He's for 18 years as king. And he decides to buy a property from a fellow named Shemer. You're like, wait, that's a random fact. Shemer, guess what they named that area after it's bought from Shemer? They name it Shomron, Samaria. Judea and Samaria. So Omri buys this place called Shemer from buys a place from Shemer, and he names it Shomron. Now, Omri is not borderline righteous or wicked. He is full on anti-Hashem. He's worshiping Avodah Zarah. He's not into things so much. But if you think he's bad, check out his son Achav, the ultimate one, the one who's married to the villainous Jezebel. It's almost a expression, like if someone's wicked. It's like Jezebel. So Omri's son Achav becomes king, and he's king in Shomron, which was bought from Shemer. But this guy was like a whole next level wickedness, and he marries Izebel, who is the daughter of the king of Sidon, Tyre, which is Lebanon, and Tyre spelled Tyre, not like a tire of a wheel, but Sidon. And he takes the worship of idols to a whole new place. He builds a mizbeach for the Baal, which is horrible avodah zarah, and Achav does all kinds of wicked things. It says that he does the most nasty things anyone has ever done, any king of Israel. In his days, remember in the book of Yehoshua, they conquer the city of Jericho, and they make a vow that no one should be able to rebuild the city, and that whoever's going to rebuild the city is going to have all their children pass away. Well, in his days, he was so wicked, even something as basic as this. He's like, okay, let's build Yericho, and he asks from a fellow named Chiel Beit Ha'eli to rebuild it. And in fact, it says that when he started rebuilding it, his Aviram, his firstborn son, died. And by the time he finished it, all of his children were dead, all the way to his young son, Seguv, just like Hashem promised to Yehoshua. So, what did we have in this chapter? We have Baasha, the zealot, who took out the entire household of Yerovam, being told by Yehu that, sorry, you are just as bad as your predecessors, and what you did to your predecessors is going to happen to your whole family. And in fact, that's what happens. Once Baasha dies, his son Elah becomes king. While he's drunk, his servant Zimri kills him, followed by a takeover against Zimri, where King Omri and King of, what's his name, something of Gaton, Tivni ben Ginat, and they take over. And then once Tivni ben Ginat dies, everybody follows Omri, who is father of Achav, and Omri buys a city from Shemer, which is Shomron. And now comes the ultimate wickedness of Achav and his wife Izebel, who is the daughter of the king of Sidon, and they build a lot of avodah zarah for the Baal. That's a lot of names. If you were able to understand all those names and figure out who's who, give yourself a pat on the shoulder and a loud round of applause. Even if no one hears, give yourself a loud round of applause, because we're about to be introduced to the ultimate, one and only, terrifying in this case, Eliyahu Hanavi. Guys, brace yourselves for the stories of Eliyahu, to be continued next chapter, chapter 17.